if you don't want the job, I'll certainly have it back, because someone needs to get in there and break up the cabal of James O'Brien and Fatty Fogarty. Could it be that now you've seen what Labour are actually like, you don't want to face the music?
But look, breaking right now, Carol Vorderman out at LBC, or as I now call it, the Labour Broadcasting Company. She's trying to spin this as her own decision, writing on X, "Hello, I've got some news to share with you. After working 7-day weeks for as long as I can remember, I finally burned out just over 2 weeks ago, and I ended up in hospital overnight. After many scans, we know that I don't have any underlying health issues whatsoever." Phew. From what I'm aware of Ms. Vorderman's work, she also doesn't have a full-time job, apart from posting lots of horrendous messages on X about anyone who isn't on the hard left. So this is spin to me. This is media spin. Carol Vorderman was reaching the end of her 1-year deal, and my feeling would be they probably didn't want her back because she is becoming more and more extreme and alienating more and more ordinary Brits. But this is how she tried to justify her decision to leave LBC.
But my family have given me a good talking to, so have my friends, and have said, no more 7-day working weeks. So, very, very sadly, something had to go. And I'm very fed up about it, but I have made the decision that I can no longer do my Sunday show on LBC. Which is a very hard decision to come to, but I couldn't see anything else that I could do. That's the truth. So I'm carrying on being a part of the LBC family, and I'll be popping in from time to time. But I just want to say thank you for all of your support over the last year. And it's been fantastic, and the ratings and everything have been fantastic. So thank you very much. It's just one of those things. And I'm very sad about it. But I shall be continuing to make mischief, but just not 7 days a week in future. Mwah!
Something fishy there. This is how Katie Hopkins responded.
In other news, Carol Vorderman steps down from my LBC show because she says she's exhausted after working 7 days a week, that she had to be hospitalised with exhaustion. I mean, it's not that hard doing radio, is it, love? It's not, changing beds as a cleaner in a hotel room. If you don't want the job, I'll certainly have it back, because someone needs to get in there and break up the cabal of James O'Brien and Fatty Fogarty. Could it be that now you've seen what Labour are actually like, you don't want to face the music?
Well. Ben Walk, what do you make of this? Because I find it very hard to believe that Vorderman has just walked away from that job. But isn't the bigger point that actually LBC is now such a letdown? It used to be a station of the people, and in fact, now not only is it a station of the left, even when it comes to folk on the left, engages in cancel culture all the time, because Sangeeta Miska was also booted off.
Yeah, I think you and Katie both have a point here. I think this is a lot to do with her contract coming to the end, and the fact that she can't answer for the thing that she worked so hard to get elected. My heart pumps purple piss for her. Like you, Dan, I've worked 7 days a week for God knows how long. I couldn't even tell you. I'm pretty sure that she doesn't really understand what a hard day's work is like. As Katie quite rightly said, go work on a building site, go work as a cleaner, then maybe you'll understand. So what I would say is, in good news, I suppose, I would like to recommend or nominate her for an NCA, because that performance was outstanding. I mean, she was very, very good there. So,
I've been to hospital, but everything's fine, but I'm going to leave my job. Oh, what rubbish. And the thing is, right, she deserves no kid glove treatment, does she? Because Vorderman has become deranged, Ben. The way that she attacks anyone who is on the centre right is unhinged.
Oh, absolutely unhinged. It was difficult actually with that video because I wasn't sure if she was genuinely upset or happy because I couldn't see if her face was moving.
Oh, you
But
never can.
no, no, yeah, you just don't know. But you're right. I mean, she holds or she basically pulls no punches when she's going for someone who she doesn't agree with politically or whatever. So I really don't feel anything for her. I'm sick of the upset little videos and tweets. It's just, go away. What's wrong with you? Just do one. Nobody really wants to listen to you anyway. So job done. And what's the LBC family anyway? That sounds horrid. Like, what is that? There's some sort of weird thing going on at LBC that we don't know about yet.
Well, to be honest, I'd compare them to the Addams family because that is a very spooky bunch. But what's so funny then is that one sort of left winger who's gone a bit too far gets booted out the door. In comes another one. This time, the equally horrendous Matthew Wright, a really unpleasant guy, actually. He used to host the show before me at Talk Radio, and people couldn't stand him because he's so weird and so rude. But there's this great moment where, again, he's so tortured by the fact that his listeners are actually revealing to him that you backed a dud. This Labour government is a dud, and you can see the colour draining from his face as he thinks, how on earth am I going to defend?
The first 100 days of Labour have been an unmitigated disaster. I think they've been marked by sleaze, scandal, cronyism and incompetence. But above all, they've been marked by the ideological decision to remove the winter fuel allowance from 10 million pensioners. That has overshadowed everything. Keir Starmer keeps saying that there's a £22 billion black hole in the finances. Yeah, which is why they need to remove 1.4 billion of winter fuel allowance. Yet I've just worked out on the back of a post-it note that since July, Labour have spent £70 billion, 22 billion on carbon capture and storage, 11.6 billion on foreign aid, 8.5 billion on QB energy, 7.5 billion on the wealth fund, 3.6 billion to Ukraine, and on and on and on. Matthew, that comes to 68.5 billion pounds. So they are lying, you think, not only about the pensioners, the 10 million pensioners, but also about the thousands upon thousands upon thousands of workers who have lost their jobs. At Port Talbot Steel in Wales, at Grangemouth in Scotland, at Harland and Wolff. And these are disastrous decisions, not to mention 100,000 jobs in Scotland at risk from the ban on offshore oil and gas drilling. Labour are not sticking to Labour values.
How good is that caller? And isn't it just brilliant? You can see Matthew Wright thinking, I have no answer to this. I have no answer. They all backed the wrong guy.
Yeah, I mean, that caller was absolutely outstanding. I mean, the facts and the figures, and you can see that with he's struggling. He's looking away. He's almost in agreement. He wants to nod and say yes. I mean, there's a point where he turns away like he's going to throw up with the truth bomb that's just landed on top of him. And it's such an awkward call for him. And I think it's absolutely brilliant. But you must always beware of a guy who has a rat's tail. So, yeah, he's definitely one to watch. But what a call!
He's a weirdo.
And, yeah,
he's a total weirdo. Let's be honest. But then,
so eloquently put.
But you know what LBC is now doing, Ben? That they need to look for new enemies because it's all about distraction. So the latest enemy is, of course, Elon Musk. This was a crazy decision, by the way, for Labour to exclude the world's richest man from today's investment summit. I mean, it shows that they're a complete joke of a government. But before we get to that, can we just look at this discussion on LBC between Stephen Fry and Andrew Marr as they decide that it's Elon Musk, because he's fighting for free speech and speaking up for common sense, that is actually the biggest threat to the world.
You were one of the first people out of Twitter.
Yes, because of him, exactly.
So just tell people why you left.
I began to see signs of woeful and worrying qualities in this Musk man, and I saw him veering off into the kind of... I don't want to use words like narcissistic personality disorder because I'm not a psychiatrist. But the kind of self-obsessed inability to take criticism that one sees in Trump and one knows from certain people when they're drunk, but not normal people when they're sober or thoughtful. And certainly it's not a very British thing, And I just thought this man is going off the rails severely. And it seems he's gone further and further towards the dark side.
I mean, Ben, firstly, Stephen Fry talking about someone with narcissistic personality disorder is just a little bit too hypocritical for me. But why on earth have they decided to make Musk, who's fighting to protect the West and actually to save the West, the new bogeyman? Why do they hate him so much? They have Musk derangement syndrome, I've decided.
Well, I guess we kind of should listen to Stephen on that front because he'll have a working knowledge of narcissistic tendencies. So he knows what he's talking about. Knows what he's talking about. But yeah, absolutely ridiculous. I mean, and to refer to him as a move to the dark side. This is how these people kind of sum up anyone who just has a different opinion to them. And I don't disagree. I mean, Musk is he's a little bit crazy, but isn't that fine? Who cares? But they've excluded him from these talks. And like you say, the richest guy in the world. What a stupid move. And again, just based on their political feeling. It's not right.
Doesn't it show, though, how thin-skinned Starmer is, Slippery Starmer as I call him? Because the only reason that you would not invite Musk to the World Investment Summit or the UK Investment Summit is because of a personal issue. And Starmer doesn't like Musk because Musk called him out for all of the ludicrous behaviour in the wake of the so-called riots after the Southport massacre. And actually, it was impossible yesterday for Jonathan Reynolds, the business secretary, to defend the indefensible during an interview with Trevor Phillips on Sly News. Watch this.
Why didn't you invite Elon Musk? You're desperate to get a company which sacks its employees by Zoom, but you're stiffy about the biggest car maker in the world because he put something on social media you didn't like.
Look, I'm not going to comment on particular invitations for particular personnel.
Come on, but Elon Musk is not some odd invitation. It is Elon Musk, biggest car maker in the world, richest man in the world. Why didn't you invite him?
Look, I'm not going to comment on the reasons for any specific person, but I can tell you we have 300 of the most significant investors, business figures, people who can bring significant amounts of capital to the UK. Big names, things that will make a big difference to working people's lives. And that's the criteria.
You're happy to talk to me about DP World, who sacks their workers. You're happy to invite the Saudis, who authorise the murder of Jamal Khashoggi, and they get the red carpet. Why isn't Musk being invited?
Well, I'm not going to...
This is you in opposition, isn't it?
I mean, no answer. Because there is no good answer.
There is no answer. I mean, okay, you've got 300 really rich guys, women around a table. Why not have 301? Musk has probably got the same amount of money if you add all of those people together. It was a stupid move based on the wrong reasons, and they just can't back it up. I mean, he's absolutely someone who could add value to this country by way of investment. He is a smart guy and he should be allowed to speak. But because he said some hurty words on a social media platform, obviously he can definitely not come here.
Yeah. And by the way, Elon Musk, it's not like he's banning lefties from X. He just wants everyone to have free speech, which actually is surely something that we should all be aiming for. But another organisation that seems to remain in perpetual opposition is the British Bashing Corporation, the BBC. I know they've always been completely unfair on UKIP. It's just ingrained in them. But I think the worst example of where they put political propaganda above entertainment is Have I Got News for You? It's meant to be a show that pillories the government of the day. But now that Labour's in power, they are still just obsessed with going after the Tories. And there was a great example of that with my friend Dame Andrea Jenkins, who appeared on Friday night and got a typical response. Watch this.
He'll come back, won't he?
I don't think it's over for him, no.
You don't think it's over?
I still think Boris was one of our better prime ministers. Yeah. I see you selected the audience, you know. The people who don't like Boris or Conservatives. Yeah.
You can't just say you've selected the audience. You've got no evidence for that, no proof. It's just bollocks. This isn't GB News.
Hang on, isn't this GB News? I thought I was on GB. I'm in the wrong place altogether. Anyway, right. It has been another week...
Don't go.
No.
Sorry, that was a bit late, wasn't it?
Just pathetic, isn't it, Ben? Just absolutely pathetic. They have their targets, Boris Johnson, Brexiteers, and GB News. And in fact, would you not think that this absolute shit show from Labour would have given them so much good content if they were actual comedians rather than political propagandists?
Yeah, I mean, if there was ever a show that needed to be canned, it's that one. It's
Please.
well past its sell by
Please.
date. Just like most of what the BBC produces now, it's utterly in the bin. I've used the word earlier for the Labour government, but the BBC's the same. It's an insidious operation. It needs to be broken up. And I've been involved in shows, be it in regional BBC shows or national ones, in the audience and on the panel. And you can quite clearly see that there are paid people there, or they are selected based on their political views. This is nothing new. They're continuing to do it. And quite frankly, it's boring.
It is. It's so boring. And the great thing is, it's not going to be long until the BBC is done because consumers are making their choice. There's some weirdness going on within the BBC, though. Jeremy Vine sparking a lot of debate for deciding to prance around the corporation in high heels. It's a disturbing video. I'm going to show it to you in 1 minute, and I'll get your reaction, Ben. So stand by. We're back in just 1 minute. First, though, if you've been following my channel, you know I've talked about Verso before. They were my first ever sponsor for a reason. I've been using their products since earlier this year, initially drawn to the longevity benefits like feeling more youthful, having increased energy, enhanced cognition, and better sleep. But there was one unexpected bonus I started to notice: weight loss. Salabine by Verso isn't just about slowing down the aging process. It's packed with research-backed ingredients that also promote fat loss. These ingredients have been proven in both animal and human studies to boost metabolism and improve body composition through a variety of body mechanisms. One aspect is how these ingredients increase the body's process to break down fat and act as a calorie restricting mimetic, essentially fooling your body into thinking it's consuming fewer calories. They also help regulate glucose and leptin levels, which suppress hunger and increase feelings of fullness, effectively curbing cravings. Now, I take Celbine every day to feel like a younger version of myself, combating the signs of aging, which is amazing on its own. Experiencing fat loss is just an added bonus and something I'm really happy about. Plus, Verso ensures transparency and quality by publishing third-party testing results for each batch they produce, so you know you're getting exactly what you pay for. So click on the link in the description on YouTube and Rumble, or head on over to buy.ver.so, use the coupon code OUTSPOKEN at checkout, and you will save 15% on your first order. So I'm just going to repeat all of that for you. It's www.buy.ver.so/outspoken. When you check out with your purchase, if you just enter the word outspoken into the coupon code box, you'll get 15% off. But now, back to the show. And what on earth is going on with Jeremy Vine at the BBC? It will disturb you, I promise. I think we will get it in just a moment, but let me set it up for you. Oh, here we go. Okay, Ben Walker, it's not often I'm speechless, but what? He's a news presenter on Radio 2.
Yeah, I saw that and literally wanted to smash my head through a wall. I mean, it's vile. It's Jeremy Vile, basically. I mean, okay, all right. Is he having a laugh? Who knows? But he's obviously doing it in BBC time. I'm not sure what that has, if it anything, to do with what he does. And you can see the roars of laughter in the background where he's running and saying he really enjoys it. It's just wrong. It's complete misuse of public money. It's not what he should be doing. It's like Gary Lineker commenting on political matters. Stay in lane, do what you do, and just shut up and stop bringing that corporation into disrepute, because that's essentially what you're doing. And I'm glad that, only a shoebox of people watch that now, because that's not right. It's not funny. Just pack it in.
Yeah, exactly. And if you want to dress up in high heels, that's fine. Do it in your own time, if your wife is okay with that, I guess. But prancing around the BBC, no, very, very odd. Very odd. And also not really, you would think, the look the BBC was wanting after the issues with Hugh Edwards and everything else that I've been going through.
Yeah, that's a massive miscalculation, isn't it, when you think about it? Given all the hot water that they've been in recently, and then to go and do something as idiotic as that. I mean, I also have some concerns about the shorts that he's wearing and the shirt being tucked in the manner in which it is, but I'm not the fashion police. But
no.
the guy should really just
But the point is, you're a news reader. Go in, read the news impartially, and do all your silly stuff at home, away from the BBC. What you get up to in your own bedroom, that's absolutely fine. No judgment from me, but don't be doing it within the halls of the BBC. But I think, Ben, it just shows you how much the BBC has fallen. I mean, imagine David Dimbleby looking at that, and just thinking, what the hell happened to what was, once a great organisation, but no longer an organisation that we can be proud of. But Ben Walker, it has been so good to have you. We'll be very interested to see this new policy proposal, this radical new shake-up from UKIP. So please do come back, maybe with Nick Tenconi, once you're ready to unveil that.
Of course. Thank you very much for having me down, and keep up the excellent work.
Brilliant. Ben Walker, the chairman of the United Kingdom Independence Party. Thank you so much, Ben. Thank you so much for watching Dan Wootton Outspoken. Please click on my face just to the bottom left to subscribe to this brand new independent news source, and turn on the notification bell so you'll be alerted to our brand new live shows, uncancelled interviews, and special royal episodes. Outspoken is also now available as a podcast, so you can listen to the show every weekday on the go, wherever you are.